What's good, y'all? It's Solution back at it with another mental gym video in which I give you guys mental exercises you can use to become extremely successful and achieve all the goals you are after. So let's get right into it. So today I want to talk about decisions, right? Because many of us have decisions to make, especially on the path to achieving our goals. We have to decide to go left or right or up or straight or down or whichever direction. We have to make decisions in order to go somewhere because we can't act without deciding to act first. We must decide, right? And I realize this is extremely important, and many of us struggle with decision making, right? We struggle with deciding to go left or right or up or down or whatever, and we stagnate. And stagnating is bad. Why? Because you're not doing. And in order to achieve your goals, you must do. And that's what has led to this mental exercise. You're going to be able to think through so you can better make your decisions much faster, so you can get to doing faster, so you can get to your goals a lot faster. Right? Cool. So decisions in the context of achieving goals, that the definition I came up with for it is accepting bad outcomes when trying to achieve your goals. Accepting bad outcomes when trying to achieve your goals. You see, think about this for a second. If we lived in a world where we were only going to get good outcomes from deciding to do things, no one would struggle with decision making. The main reason why people struggle with decision making is because they cannot accept bad outcomes. When it comes to achieving your goals, the main reason why people struggle with decision making is because they cannot accept bad outcomes. And because they cannot accept the bad outcomes, they decide to do nothing. And when you do nothing, you can't achieve your goals because you must do something to achieve something, right? So this is what will lead me into the mental exercise right now that you can use to learn how to accept bad outcomes, right? Because there's things that have to come before the accepting. And the first part of this is awareness, right? So before you can accept a bad outcome, you have to know what the bad outcomes are. You have to know what the consequences of a potential decision you're going to make are. Because if you don't know what the consequences are and you're just making a decision blind, that's not going to serve you because you're just making a blind decision and you don't even know what the consequences are. So when a bad thing happens, of course you're going to be mad and frustrated because you were ignorant. You made a decision out of ignorance. That's why before any and all decisions we decide to make for achieving our goals or on the path to achieving our goals, we must be aware. We must have knowledge and know exactly what the consequences are. You need to have information. You have to know consequences. What can go wrong? By awareness, what do I mean by awareness? Of the bad outcomes. Awareness of bad outcomes. Right? What can go wrong with any decision right now that you need to make in regards to your goals, right? In the context of achieving your goals, ask yourself, what are the bad outcomes? What can go wrong? What can go wrong? What are the consequences? And right now you're probably thinking, well, what if I don't know what can go wrong? Good that you asked that. So if you don't know what the potential bad outcomes are, you have to go figure out and get the knowledge. Where can you get the knowledge from? From your value circle. And this is a previous mental exercise that I've made about people who can help you achieve your goals because they have knowledge you don't have about achieving the goal. And they have this knowledge because they can pretty much come in three forms, essentially. Someone in your value circle or someone who can help you achieve your goals. The first form is people who have achieved what you want and they value the same things as you. And obviously you have access to them, they can give you information. The second type is someone who wants to achieve the same thing as you and they value the same things as you. Because if you guys are trying to achieve the same goal, you know, they will have their experiences, you will have your experiences, you guys come together, come to conclusions, and figure out what potential consequences are or problems are. And then because of that, you know, it helps you out or it guides you more than if you were just on your own and you didn't know anything or had no other outside experience. And then the third kind of person, which is the best kind, is people who've achieved what you want, value the same things as you, and you can work with them, meaning you can directly go to this person and work with them and on some like master student type of vibes, right? So essentially you want to go refer to your value circle if you lack information on what potential consequences are for a decision you are trying to make in regards to your goals. So if you do not know, think value circle. If you don't know, then make sure you go to your value circle to get knowledge. If you don't know, go to your value circle. And when you go to your value circle, they will give you information that you don't have. And because of that, you will know what the bad outcomes are, which is good because that is the whole point. In order to make decisions, we have to know what can go wrong, right? So once we know what can go wrong, either you already know it already, or you go to your value circle and they give you information. What you do next is plus acceptance, right? Acceptance. And this one is very clearly a very, very important step for you to think through in this exercise. You see, guys, like I just mentioned earlier, if we knew everything was going to go right when we made a decision, we would not struggle with decision making. But the issue that a lot of you guys, this is where I'm kind of going to talk for a little bit as I explain this. But when it comes to making decisions, we always want things to go right. And that is actually a limiter for us. Because to break a belief for you, if you believe this, we do not live in a perfect world. We do not live in a world where everything will go right, no matter what. We cannot control outcomes. We cannot control things outside of ourselves. Other things exist outside of you. And those things do not give a fuck about what outcome you want. And because of that, it impedes your guarantee that you want. If you cannot ask for perfection from a world that is imperfect. You can't ask for a guaranteed outcome from a world that will not give you guarantees. Right? You can't ask for certainty from a world that is uncertain. You cannot do that. I know this might seem obvious, but we fuck up a lot of obvious shit. And people telling you obvious shit is actually super important. And I personally learned that. That's why I'm emphasizing this. You have to accept and realize the fact that you are in an imperfect world. Shit will go wrong. Shit will go wrong. And deep down you know that, and that's why you struggle with decision making. Because you know there's consequences to the decisions you make. You know there's bad outcomes, right? You know that. And you have to learn to accept that fact that shit can go wrong. Because the sooner you can accept shit going wrong, the faster you can make decisions. What do I mean by this? So instead of thinking about when you need to make a decision, right? So you have a decision you need to make for whatever path of goal achievement you're on. You have a decision you need to make to go here, where, whatever direction, right? Just make it make sense. Just make it make sense for you in your current situation and your goal achievement, right? You have a decision to make. So first, of course, like I said, you need to be aware, know what the bad outcomes are. If you don't know what the consequences are, go to your value circle, people who are knowledgeable, and they can tell you, you go tell them what your situation is. They'll be like, okay, cool. This is all the bad shit that can happen. So now, instead of thinking what normally people do, they're like, what are the pros and cons? No. What are the cons? And then ask yourself, am I okay in a reality where these cons happen? Will I be okay? Because that's really all that matters. Because what fucks people up is that we only want things to go right. We only want things to go right. Whereas you can become a very, very dangerous individual when it comes to a goal achievement if you learned how to accept shit going wrong. I'm telling you, that makes you extremely, extremely dangerous. Because 90% of people only want shit to go right. Meaning 99% of people are living in a false reality. They're living in a false reality because they're asking for an imperfect world to give them perfection. They're asking an uncertain world to give them certainty. So they're literally doing themselves a disservice whenever they make decisions because they only want shit to go right. Whereas the real money or the real value comes from with decision making is accepting shit going wrong. So for whatever situation you're in right now and whatever decision you need to make, look at the consequences and accept the shit going wrong. Can you, or more, ask yourself, can you accept shit going wrong? Can you accept whatever the consequences are happening? Can you accept it? Because if you tell yourself, oh yeah, I can live in a reality with this shit going wrong, then make the fucking decision. Boom. There's nothing else to think about, right? Because you don't need more time to make decisions, y'all. You don't need, give me a week, give me a weekend, no, that's just procrastination. It's cap. You just need information. And the information being, what can go wrong? What are the bad outcomes? That is the information that you really need. Because I'm not going to talk about pros. Because like I was saying earlier, we all as individual humans always want shit to go right. That's just our base human psychology. We're not making decisions hoping shit is going wrong. Obviously. We're making decisions to benefit us in some way. We already do that. That's why shit going right is not important, because whatever decision you're thinking of, you're thinking of it because you think it can give you something that will help you. So we're already in a state of mind as humans where we want shit to go right. That's why your main focus needs to be on all the bad shit. You need to be thinking about the bad shit. What can go wrong? What are the consequences, right? And then you move to this step and you're like, okay, can I accept the consequences, right? And let's say the answer is yes, you can accept the shit going wrong. Yes. So let's say it's yes. And from yes, you go to do. So once you accept the consequences, if you accept the consequences, if it's yes for you, you're like, okay, I accept these consequences. Meaning, not like, oh, I'm aware of the consequences. No, this is different. You're not aware of bad shit happening. You accept bad shit happening. Meaning you tell yourself, if the bad shit happens from me making this decision, I'm cool. I'm okay with it. I don't care. It's fine. I can live with this. It will not hurt me so bad that I will never be able to achieve my goals again, right? You're okay with the consequence. Not you're just aware, you accept it. So yes, do. Then act. Immediately take action. You have the information, you accept the reality of the consequences occur, do. Then do, make the decision. If no, right? If your answer is no, you cannot accept the consequences. You believe whatever consequence from whatever decision you're about to make is going to be so bad, it's going to limit you so hard, you're not going to be able to recover, you could die, whatever. You just say no. So you're like, no. And then if no, do nothing. Literally that simple, y'all. Then just don't do anything. Don't make the decision. And what I mean by don't make the decision, I mean just don't do the thing. Don't do anything. Because you cannot accept the consequence. Even if the pros are there, that's what I'm saying, the pros doesn't matter. Because if you cannot live with the consequence, the pros don't matter. You have to be willing to just live with the consequences. I'm telling you, this makes it easier to make decisions. So you waste less, because a lot of people waste time in the pros and cons thing. A lot of people just waste time. It's a waste of time. You need to be doing, you need to act as soon as possible. So all you need to do is look at the consequences, and if you can accept that shit, make the decision. Just make the decision, because you can accept the consequences. Obviously, you don't want bad shit to happen. It's fine. But whatever decision you're thinking through right now, you're already thinking with the premise of, I want good outcome. Cool. Everybody wants good shit. But nobody wants to think about the bad outcomes. People will be aware of them, but nobody wants to accept them too. And that's why what most people will do is, the bad thing that they will do is they will be aware of the potential bad outcomes. Like it could be you, somebody you know, whatever. Anybody watching this video, it's definitely been me. Oh, hell yeah, it's been me. I'm like aware of the bad outcome. I'm like, that never happened to me. It never happened to me. And I'm focusing only on the good outcomes we cannot control. Why? We live in an uncertain world, right? I'm like, only thinking about the outcome. And then when the bad shit happens, I'm like, I'm sad, I'm depressed, I'm angry. All shit that wastes time. When you're sad, depressed, angry, complaining, frustrated about a consequence, you are wasting time. None of those activities will make you successful. You become successful from doing. You have to just do. And in order to do sooner, right, when it comes to making your decisions, you have to be aware of the bad outcomes and then learn to accept them. Because if you can, you ask yourself if you can accept it, right? So let me even put a question mark. Acceptance question mark. Like, can you accept bad outcome? If you can accept bad outcome, meaning yes, do. If you cannot accept bad outcome, don't do anything. Meaning don't do the thing. Do not do whatever thing. You just say no to whatever that thing is. If you cannot accept the bad outcome, right? And then with this, you can make decisions way faster. The reason why we are so slow to make decisions is for two reasons. The first one is time, right? We think we need time to make decisions. We think, let me think about it for an hour. Let me think about it for a week. Let me think about it for a weekend. You don't need to think about shit. All you need to do is have information. So if you are lacking information, go get it. If you don't already have the information, go get it. Well, how do I know who to get it from? From your value circle. right? And I will link the value circle video down below so you can go refer to that so you can better understand what I'm talking about. These are people who have knowledge that can serve you because they've achieved what you want, or they want to achieve the same thing as you, or they've achieved what you want. You can work with them. They can give you information to tell you about the bad outcomes. And now that you know, you need to go a step further than knowing. Don't just know the cons or the consequences or whatever. Don't just know what can go wrong. Choose to accept it or not. Don't just be aware. The minute somebody tells you something could go wrong, you need to take that in and be like, do I accept that or not? Do I accept that consequence? Meaning, can I live with that? Can I live with that shit? I know it really seems like I'm drilling this, but it's nobody is doing this part. Everyone is aware. Everyone is in this part. I'm just saying this part because it's important. You need to know all the bad shit. You need information, right? I'm not saying y'all should be walking around making ignorant decisions. You need information, so you need to be aware. But a lot of you guys just ignore this part. You ignore this part because you're so concerned about getting the good outcome and making shit and having shit only go right. And I'm trying to break that belief for y'all now. Shit will never always go right. I'm telling you, people who are extremely successful and achieved extreme success, bro, they have a long list of fucked up shit that happened. Because shit will never always go right. No one has a perfect life. No one has a perfect path to achieving their goals. No one does. But the people who get to their goals were accepting fucking consequences. They were accepting fucking bad shit happening. They were willing to do shit and lock in and commit to shit because they were accepting shit going wrong. They were like, shit going wrong or consequences or problems is a not even integral part. It is a part of success. So all I need to do to move forward is either choose to not do the thing because the consequences, I do not want them and I feel like it will set me back, it's horrible or whatever, or I accept those consequences and yes, I do the thing, period. And as you think through this mental exercise, as you practice it, which I hope you guys will practice it, right? You will get faster and faster and faster. For me, this has worked wonders in my life. I can make decisions like that now because all I need to do whenever I need to make a decision, I'm like, okay, like it's almost like if somebody approaches me, it's like, oh, do you want to do this and this? I'm like, okay, what's all the shit that can go wrong? What's all the bad shit that can happen? They tell me all the bad shit. I'm like, I can live with that. Boom, decision made. I do the thing, right? Period. That fast. But like I said, a lot of guys get stuck in the decision-making phase because they want to make a perfect decision when perfect decisions don't exist because outcomes can never be perfect. Outcomes are never guaranteed. You cannot make perfect decisions because you do not live in a perfect world. So stop trying to make perfect decisions. Collect as much information as you possibly can on the potential consequences and then either accept them, be willing to accept them because you look at them and you're like, okay, I can live with this. You have to ask yourself, can you live with this? Can you live with this happening? If yes, then you do it. If no, don't do it. And then go make another decision on something else, right? You either do it or do nothing. But you have to do this acceptance phase, y'all. I'm telling you, y'all, you have to do this. I'm telling you, do not skip this. Do not just be aware of the shit. Of the problems or the bad outcomes. Learn to accept. Either accept that this shit is too fucked up for me and I'm not going to do shit. Or this shit, I can deal with it, I can live with it and accept it. But please, bruh, do not sit in the decision-making phase. I really want you guys to lower the amount of time it takes for you guys to make decisions. I really, really do. Because in my own past, bruh, like, that has been the biggest thing that has annoyed me or set me back from achieving my goals sooner. Because I'm taking too long to make decisions. Because before I used to think I needed time to think about it. And then with that time, I'll be like, okay, let me look at the pros and cons and just all this bullshit. When the truth is, I just need to look and be like, okay, this is all the bad shit. I have all the information here. Okay, am I okay with this shit getting fucked up? And if the answer to that was no, then I just don't do the thing. But if I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Right? I'll give you a good example before I end off with this. I'll give you an example of this. Think about the lottery. A lot of people go buy lottery tickets. That's a decision. They decide to buy a lottery ticket, obviously because of the upside. Yes, something good will happen if you buy a lottery ticket. You will potentially earn a fuck ton of money, right? What are the consequences of buying a lottery ticket? You could buy the lottery ticket with your money and get nothing back for your money. Because essentially money is just an exchange of value. So you give your value, your hard-earned money, for value in return, which would be the potential to win a lot of money. But there's a very, 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 and it's funny, everyone's aware of the consequences. Because if there's a very, 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 very high chance you do not win the lottery. I don't know exactly what the statistical probability is. You can go search that up on your own. But like the likelihood is just so fucking low. But people are willing to pay for the lottery ticket because they can accept the consequence. They can accept the fact that if they give this money, there's a really high likelihood that they won't get shit in return. Boom. They accept the consequence because all they'll be like is, well, I gave that money up. Like, but I can live with the fact that I'm giving however much it is to buy the lottery ticket. They're like, okay, I can give that up. I don't care. And then boom, they just pay for it. And this is just like literally an example of you just need to evaluate the consequence. That's all that matters. Like, it takes nothing to go get up to the store, go buy a lottery ticket. It takes nothing. And the consequence is I don't get my money back. Or I don't get value in return. Cool. I don't mind. Right? Fine. But if it cost $1 million to buy a lottery ticket, a lot of people would be like, the consequence is really big if I spend $1 million on a lottery ticket. So I'm not going to do that because I cannot accept that consequence. Cool. You just have to be willing to accept the consequence. Just focus on whatever the bad outcomes are. Do you accept them or do you not? That's all. You get as much information as possible and you either decide to accept the consequence, right? Or you decide to not accept. That is it. That's all you got to do. So yeah, so that's pretty much my decision-making framework. I believe if you use this, it will make your decision-making process a lot faster, y'all. Because I'm telling you, in order to achieve your goals, guys, you just have to act. You have to take action. You have to do. Who gives a fuck what, even me included, who gives a fuck what anybody is saying about any other shit? You have to take action, right? So for me, my mission here, y'all, is to make sure you are not wasting time in a decision-making phase, looking at pros, cons, this, that, and the third. Nah, bro. You just need to collect information. You do not need time. You don't need a day. You don't need a weekend. You don't need a week. You just need to get all the information as soon as possible. Look at that shit. And by information, I mean, look at all the bad shit that can happen. Literally just look at the bad shit that can happen. Just look at all the bad shit. Once you know all the bad shit that can happen, and if you don't know it, you go to your value circle, people who can help you and give you knowledge, right? You go to them, they'll give you the knowledge, you have it all in front of you. You're like, okay, can I fuck with this? Can I fuck with this bad shit happening? Cool, I'ma just do the shit. Then you just do the shit. And if you're like, I can't accept the reality where this consequence occurs, like I could die, blah, blah, blah. Whatever extreme situation you're like, I can't do it, then just do nothing. And then go make a decision on something else. I'm telling you, I really hope you guys can use this to make your decisions way faster so you waste less time and you get to your goals faster, because that's essentially what we all want to do. But with that being said, please give me feedback on this, if this even makes sense, or if you understood what I'm trying to say here, or if you did not fuck with this at all, you're like, Solution, this is dumb, you need to explain this better, you're trash, whatever the fuck. All the feedback helps for me to become a better YouTuber. And please, please, please like the video, boost this in the algorithm if you liked it, of course, so more guys can see this, make decisions way, way fucking faster and not waste time, mentally fatiguing themselves thinking about shit instead of doing shit, right? When they just need to do shit to get to where they want to go. So yeah, with that pretty much taken care of, I guess I'll catch you guys in the next Mental Gym video. Peace.